Now, productivity is probably the most important thing if you're an entrepreneur. So really figuring out how you can master productivity for yourself, for your team, will really enable you to deliver value for your business to your customers and everything. Now, I'm just going to start by talking about what is productivity. And there's actually a formula for productivity. And the formula is really quite simple, which is your output divided by input, right? So how much you produce in a specific period of time, right? So your production in a period of time. So based on this definition, what you need to realize is that, number one, busy does not equal productivity, right? Because if you're busy just doing things and you're not really producing stuff, but you're spending a lot of time being busy, you're not really delivering value into the marketplace. So that's why, sometimes multitasking can actually destroy what you're trying to build, because the whole thing with productivity is you want to make sure that the output that you're delivering out there is high quality output, and you want to do it in the least amount of time as possible. So when you then try to multitask, it affects the quality of the output in the time that you're doing it. So what you really want to make sure you do is you focus on one task at a time, so that your output based on the input that you're going to put into that thing is of high quality. So getting something done is really important when you really look into the time, right? Meaning that you want to make sure that the time investment you're putting into producing that thing, you produce a high quality product, right? Because if you just do it quickly and you don't really put your focus and your energy in it, you might need to go back and make some tweaks to perfect it for your client. So that's one key thing about productivity, is you just want to make sure that the things that you're delivering based on your output really match your customers' expectations. So that's the first thing we're going to outline as a key principle for productivity, which is busy does not equal productivity. So you just want to make sure you focus. The next thing that I want to outline is that you really need to manage your energy. So it's all about energy management. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, remember we said the definition is output divided by input, right? If you are burnt out and you don't have enough energy to really execute, you won't be able to deliver high quality work. So that's why it's important when you're starting out the day, use that time when you're fresh, when you have the energy and you can be highly productive, to then work on your high payoff activities. Because then it will enable you to then work on some of these ancillary tasks like answering emails, taking meetings, and so forth and so forth, when you've actually then worked on your priorities. So you want to align your priorities with the times that you're highly productive, and usually the times that you're highly productive are the times that you really have a lot of energy. So with me personally, what I tend to do is, in the morning when I'm super productive and I have a lot of energy, when I wake up and I've worked out, that's when I focus on my priorities. I don't take meetings usually until noon, and I try not to, be on the phone or go on social media and answer emails during that time, because I want to use that time to really do focused work. There are other videos that I'll drop in the description below where we also talk about productivity and some more tips on how you can really make your output be the best and most possible output you could get on the least amount of input. Does that make sense? Great. Now, the third thing we're going to talk about that will really lead to, great output with the least amount of input is planning. So you really want to take time planning what you're going to be working on producing, because your input, if it's time, it's a limited resource, right? We only have 24 hours a day. And those 24 hours, perhaps 8 of those hours are the ones that you dedicate to work. So really planning how you're gonna use this time that you have to deliver a quality product or quality output or work on really achieving your goals is gonna be important. There's a myth that a lot of people think that planning, it's kind of like a one-time thing, right? It's a static event that you do once. But planning is actually very dynamic. What do I mean by that? You want to be constantly planning every single day, because it enables you to then take the learnings that you learned the day before and tweak your plan on the things that you're going to do today or tomorrow. So treat planning as something that's dynamic and not something that's static, right? Planning is not static. It's not a one-time event. You need to be planning every single day. The way I do it is I plan my day the night before. So after I have gone through the day, I then sit down and I sit down and then work on putting together for what I'm going to be focused on tomorrow. And if there's anything that has changed my initial plan from before, I'll then change it then. And then the fourth element is self-discipline. It's very easy to get distracted with so many different things. Your phone, social media, people around you if you're working from home, kids and things like that. So you really need to build a strong muscle when it comes to self-discipline. Because if you really want to be super productive, you need to be disciplined and do the things you need to do at that particular time. Then you need to, quote unquote, eat that frog and not push things out to a later time because you just don't feel like doing it. So if you need to go and focus on a certain task and get that task done and delivered to your customer or to the next person who needs to work on it, it's super important that you do that, because then you get to take that thing off the list and you move on to the next thing. And then the last thing that I'm going to point out is really mindset, right? And this one is super important, mainly because you want to have a strong mental strength, right? Because it's very easy for your mind to tell you that, hey, who are you to do this? Or you can't do this, we've never done this before, don't do it. And then you don't become productive. So you're gonna need to really make sure you push your mind over matter so that you are able to just do the things that you need to do at any given time and not let your mind push you into staying in your comfort zone, because a lot of the things that you're gonna need to do to deliver a high quality output with the least amount of inputs will require you to step outside of your comfort zone. So really making sure that your mindset is rock solid will enable you to win. So those are the 5 key things that I just wanted to share with you guys that are super important for you to be super productive. So just go out there and apply these lessons and just see your productivity increase.